protecting Main Street from Wall Street. It's Chris Hoffman with Money Unleashed.
How much money do you put into your checking account from work on a month-to-month basis? It has a high probability that with your investable assets, we can replace that paycheck.
It's time to put you back in control of your money.
You've worked for 30, 35 years. It's time for you to not stress. It's time for you to enjoy and live the retirement you want to live.
It's Money Unleashed with Chris Hoffman.
This is Money Unleashed with Chris Hoffman at the Hoffman Financial Group. Our phone number is 404-341-6767. Now, I'd like to think that we do the best we can when making a big decision or even a big purchase, but sometimes we don't know what we don't know. One thing that we don't want you to struggle with when you listen to Money Unleashed is knowing the importance of financial planning and working with an advisor. Unfortunately, a lot of people may have some difficulty identifying the key points of seeking out and building that relationship. In fact, Chris, there are some things not to do when selecting a financial advisor, and I think it all starts with not hiring the right fiduciary advisory team.
Yeah, I would agree. You need to take your time with this process, folks. Familiarize yourself with somebody and then step back from them. So there are a lot of advisory dinners where you go and you enjoy a steak dinner. Go to those, listen to those, absorb those. Obviously, they are built to impress you with their knowledge and things of that. We do them. Our financial advisors hold these events all the time. But don't rush yourself during that process. Go, enjoy the evening, absorb the information. If you want to schedule a follow-up meeting, do so. And just begin the process, because as much as it's about fixing something that's broken in your portfolio, or I'm coming up against a deadline on retirement that I need to address and get busy with, or I've got tax concerns, or I'm missing out on this stock market rise. Don't panic. It can be fixed over time, but there's no just snap your fingers and rebuild your portfolio that I would recommend. So the other thing I would emphasize is your gut feeling. I've had folks call in from our show, meet with me, and say, I'm working with an advisor and it just doesn't feel right. And that's a clear indication that something's off, right? Use your intuition skills, use your gut and your head. I also would point to not only the expertise and the licensing that your financial advisor has, but I would also focus on how they treat you in those meetings, those first several meetings that you'll have and choosing them. Make sure they're doing a lot of listening. Make sure they're asking questions that don't relate to them getting paid. That's a big educational point when I hire a new advisor and we train and develop them. I emphasize to my advisors, you will not get paid on everything you do for your clients, and you shouldn't expect to. If you're going to be a holistic fiduciary advisor, you've got to manage the whole entire pie, not just the slice that you get to take home with you. So if they're not asking questions about, do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Is there a need for a trust? What's your estate plan look like? Who are your beneficiaries? Do you want to do any gifting of your RMDs? All of those things are ancillary, important financial topics that they will not collect a check from you on. And that'll tell you whether they are in it for you or possibly in it for themselves. So another thing you can do, if you want to check the basics of your advisor that you're talking to, go to FINRA Broker Check. Just Google that. FINRA, F-I-N-R-A, Broker, B-R-O-K-E-R, Check. And you can pull up your financial advisor to see what licenses they have. You can also pull up to see if they have any disclosures. Disclosures would be formal complaints to FINRA on that financial advisor. I'm not going to say that if they have one, kick them out. I don't know what the circumstances would be if they had one, but you certainly should read about it and understand it and maybe even ask them about that. So that can be a resource for you too. But use your head, use your gut. If you're in your 50s or 60s, you've been around, you've met with a lot of people. Some of them have done you right, some of them have done you wrong. and make sure that your fiduciary advisory team that you're listening to and considering does a whole lot of listening, a whole lot of educating, is patient. These meetings should not be a half an hour in and out and then a demand for your business. Some of our advisors spend 2 hours with their client, and I could never sit in a meeting for 2 hours with a financial advisor, but some folks do. So whatever your time is that you want to allow, use it, and make sure that they are not rushing or so busy that you feel like just one of the herd. You should be segmented out. You, your family, should be earmarked for whatever is important to you in a holistic approach. So those are some of the items I would concentrate on if I was choosing a financial advisor.
You made some really, really good points there, and I want to drill down on some of it because you mentioned taking your time with this process, because while you may want to just cut to the chase and hire an advisor for whatever reason, you don't want to just go with the first one you find, even if they're close to you or your family.
Yeah, that's true. And the other thing that I didn't emphasize is don't be afraid to get a referral. You have friends. Obviously, they're friends because you trust them, and you may not have the same size of portfolio or the same needs, but a lot of our events that we run for people that listen to this show or see me on TV, those dinner events, we will have clients there. So we invite our clients to attend. They can bring their friends. But if you sit at one of those tables and there's one of our clients there, ask them, how are they doing for you? Ask them, what do you think they should improve on? Don't be afraid to strip it down and expose everything. Like, nobody's perfect. So hopefully they will say, well, hopefully they won't say anything negative. But if they do, then we certainly want you to know about it before you would hire one of our advisors. So keep your eyes and ears open to our events. Keep your eyes and ears open to asking your friends who they use. And a large majority of our new clients do come from referrals. So don't be afraid to ask around and just say, hey, what do you think of Hoffman Financial Group? I think that's a powerful way to begin the process with our firm and make sure that we're right for you.
Word of mouth is a powerful thing, and we've got a lot of events going on throughout the course of the year. So if you are interested in being involved in one of those, 404-341-6767 is that phone number to get that started. Now, when you are hiring an advisor, it's also important to make sure you align with something rather important when it comes to you and that advisor, and that is risk. You got to make sure you discuss, Chris, your risk tolerance, because that's a big decision, a big factor.
Yeah. Certainly, everybody wants to grow their money, right? And I have clients that say, no, I want to be in the stock market, heavily invested, heavily at risk. I have one client who, I won't tell you how much I manage of his funds, but let's just say he has 10 times the amount that I manage for him in Bitcoin.
Wow.
And he is steady in the boat. He is like, I'm virtually never going to sell it. And I don't know if he's going to save it for retirement or what have you, but if you have conviction about something, it's okay. If that's your risk profile and you want to be in cryptocurrency, then stick to it. But yes, you need to be very clear with your advisor on, if I were to lose 10%, would I panic? Would I call you and say, I think it's going to go down another 10% or another 20% or another 30%, get me out? Because that's very disruptive to building a financial plan. So that's why we also study in the portfolio x-ray your maximum drawdown. And this does happen quite often, actually, when people say, okay, I'll let you do a portfolio x-ray for us. And they come in and I say, well, your maximum drawdown is 40%. They go, what? I could lose 40% in a year? Well, based on historical performance of the market, in one of these scenarios, you would have lost 40%. And they say, well, I can't stomach that. Wouldn't you want to know that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to know your portfolio is built to potentially give up 20, 30, 40%? And is that okay? I mean, it's a very mathematical game, and it's not an art form. It's a science, folks. So I think that's the other flaw with sitting with or interviewing a financial advisor. They have an art form to them, and I hate to say it, but everybody does, right? It's like you want to endear yourself to people and come off as friendly and build trust through that, and that's part of it. But I would look at the science behind what they're doing. I would want them to be very clinical in how they manage my financial assets. And yes, I want to like them. And yes, I have many clients that I am endeared to. I love them all, actually. But you get to know your clients over time, and you get to know their families. And when they struggle, you struggle with them, and all of that is fine. But you have to start with the clinical side, which is, are they competent? Are they going to build it the right way? Do they understand what my objectives are year over year, decade over decade? I think that's the differentiating factor to a solid financial advisory relationship with their clients.
And building a portfolio is obviously important, but building and managing that relationship is another key component. And you covered a lot of ground there when it comes to hiring an advisor. A couple of other things to keep in mind. Chris mentioned find out about their credentials, test pass, licenses, all of those kinds of things. Also make sure you've got a good understanding of the fee structure. That's a rather important one as well.
That is. You absolutely need to understand how your advisor is compensated. There are very few brokers out there, but if they have commission-based products, you're going to want them to disclose to you how much commissions they make off those products. You're going to have to understand their fee structure and how their fee structure works. I get this question quite often. If I say, okay, here's my advisory fee, people will say, oh, is that on the growth or is that on the whole portfolio? So you need to understand how they work. That indicates to me that they've gotten an indication or learned about hedge funds. In the old days, hedge funds charged 20% of the gains went into their pocket.
Wow.
Right? So if you made 10% that year, they got 2 of it, and they charged 2% in an advisory fee. So that's expensive. I don't believe there's that rate out there anymore. Or are you just under a fee-only basis where they just charge 1% or 0.75% or 1.2%? And then different investments may have different fee structures to them and advisory fees on them. So have your advisor break it down. Break it down by product, investment, and then have them total it on an average. And the other thing is, don't let them do it just in percentages. Have them hit you with the dollar figure. It's going to cost you $10,000 a year to hire me, roughly. That will impact you, and you'll say, is it worth it or is it not worth it? It's a good study to go through.
And you deserve the specifics in this process as well. Give us a call, book a time, get your portfolio x-ray. It's a complimentary service, no cost whatsoever for it. It can help you size up your savings and create that full and comprehensive financial plan designed to get you to and through retirement. Let's get started today. That portfolio x-ray, again, is complimentary. 404-341-6767, or you can sign up for one at unleashyourmoney.com. Chris Hoffman is an investment advisor representative of Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor and affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and Hoffman Financial Group are affiliated under common ownership. Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosures of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, page 4, for additional information. The Hoffman Financial Group and WSB are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. This information should not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the field of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Any client experiences discussed during the show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims-paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone. Index or fixed annuities are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, Item 4, for additional information. Hoffman Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Insurance licensed in Georgia, number 163546.